Hey there, Gaz at Fermented World. Today I'm going to do a series of tests. I'm going to test the maybe mediocre, see if the flavours change, see if it still tastes like sweets. If it does, I'm going to rack it off and then I'm going to clean this bottle out and I'm going to put it back in, let it degas for a couple of days. I'm going to put some stoppers in it to stop the fermentation. One of them is you need a crushed Campton tablet and fermentation stopper. Not really sure if it tells you what it actually is. Potassium sorbet, or sorbate, not sure how you say that. And the Campton tablet is sodium metabisulfate. You can get them cheap enough. After we finish with this, I'm going to cut the scene. Then I'm going to check the black sack mead. Then I'm going to check the jam mead to see what that's doing. That's actually showing a bit of activity inside now. It's foaming back up again. I'm not sure why. And then we're going to check the dreaded sake, or sake, whatever you want to call it, and see whether they need to be ditched because they've had another 2 weeks to sort their shit out, and if it's not up to scratch then it's going in the bin, I'm afraid, which is a shame, but hey. So yeah, let's crack on with this. First of all, we are going to mix up I've already crushed the Campton tablet because they're a bit of a pain in the arse. With your potassium sorbate, you use half a teaspoon per gallon. So these are gallons, these are. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put that into a bit of water and let it stir it in. I don't know whether you're supposed to mix these. I do. I mean, in the same thing together. The video that I watched where the person did it, homebrew.co.uk, they use separate glasses for both things, but I'm just mixing them together. They're going to be in there together, so what difference does it make? And you just want to mix them up so that they're dissolved, like so. Move that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Now, I'm not going to bother with a hydrometer reading. I know this has gone dry because there's no honey left, because I can see that the line of honey is completely gone. And if I lift it up and check underneath, there is no honey in there whatsoever. So let's just pop that to the side for a second. And we're going to pop this lid off. Airlock off. And we're going to get the baster, the taster baster. I'm going to get a wee glass. And we're going to taste it again. See where it's at. Should taste the same, being as there's no extra honey for it to ferment. Now, if you've watched the video of this, you'll remember that it didn't actually taste like honey. No. Or maybe now. Really doesn't taste like honey. It tastes very sweet. And it shouldn't taste sweet because all the sugar should have been fermented, which is very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. Still not quite sure how or why, but there's a sweetness in there. Now, normally if you let all the honey get fermented, there's no sweetness because it goes dry. Then you have to back sweeten to get the sweetness that you desire. But that's very nice. So now I'm going to rack this one off, even though it's still bubbling away. Rack it off, clean this demijohn out, and then put it back in and just leave it for a short while whilst the stoppers take effect. Normally 24 to 48 hours, the fermentation will stop. What these essentially do is they just stop the yeast from being able to take on any more sugars. Although there's no sugars there, but we just want to make sure that when we get around to bottling, we're not going to have bottles pinging and exploding and stuff like that. So it's always best to stop the fermentation, or what else you can do is you can bottle it and then you can pasteurize it. I've done that once with some ginger beer that I made for my sister, which was really nice, by the way. I'm going to do another one because I need a video of it for the channel, but yeah, pasteurizing, what that does is it takes it up to a certain temperature, but you've got to be careful not to go over, I think it's 80 degrees. After 80 degrees, alcohol evaporates and then you've just wasted all your time and effort. So yeah, you have to do it, I think it's 74 degrees or something like that. It's just enough to kill the yeast off because it just can't handle those temperatures. Anyway, stop chatting shit and get on with it. So we are racking this off. So I've got a pitcher down here. We're going to get the auto siphon. Let's just destroy everything. Auto siphon in. Down there. Pop that down there. And get it going. As well as helping degas this, what it does is it takes it out of here so I can wash this out, because I don't have any spares at the moment because I've gone absolutely crazy with it and done a shitload of them. Now, I don't know why my auto siphon keeps doing this. It's pissing me off. It seems to want to pump loads of air in it, unless it's just the stuff that's coming out of it. I do not know. But that's going to siphon that off into there. Then we'll be able to measure how much we've got, and then we'll know how many bottles we're going to need towards the end. Now, I'm going to, because this is just an experiment, I'm going to put it in mead bottles that I've already drank. So I'm going to reuse these because they don't need to be pressurized. They just need to be sealed and sterilized. So hopefully that'll be good. And I've got quite a few of them because I've been saving them. Why not reuse them? Why pay for more? Because they're not cheap. The ones that I've been buying for my meads, they're not cheap. So if I can, I'll put some in them. I do prefer the swing top ones. They're just nicer to work with. So currently we've got nearly 3 litres. Which isn't bad. To say, all it's cost me to make this is 3 lots of cheap honey, a bit more of an expensive honey because I wanted more in it, and a bit of yeast. That's it. So on average you'd spend, what, say £15 for a decent bottle of mead. This has cost me less than £5 so far, and I'm going to get quite possibly 4.5 litres maybe, which would be nice. I'm just gonna move this closer over here. Maybe not 4.5, but still, if you think 75 centilitre bottle, 15 quid, 4 litres. Now if I was paying attention, I would have noticed that that was doing that and moved it accordingly. I think that's all we're going to get. There's still quite a lot in there though, which is not good. I want it. So try and squeeze that last bit out there. There we go. We'll go with that. That'll do. There's not as much wastage now. And this is going to go into a sink of water. That's just spilt mead all over the place. Happy days. I don't think I'm going to reuse this, but I'm still going to sterilise it quickly while we do that. And I'm going to be back in a second because I'm going to go and clean this out so that I can put it back in. And what that does transferring it is it takes a lot of the gases out of there, which we're going to do again in a second whilst it's in there, but it takes it off that lease, which is where all that yeast is settled at the bottom, and you don't want that in your brew. You really don't want that in your brew. It's not going to be good for you. So I'm going to clip off here, go wash this out, and I'll be back. Right, so now we're going to add the solution we've got here, which is the Campton tablets and the potassium sorbet. Just going to whack that in there like that. And then, as well as mixing this in, we're going to degas, which takes any excess carbon that's in there out. Also, I can't remember the name of the gas. There's another gas that comes out of it that can give it like an eggy smell. You know, like a, I can't think what it is. Is it no, it can't be hydrogen. So we're just going round and round and round and round and round. It's not looking that bad, to be fair. There's not a great deal of bubbles coming up. There's some, but not an amazing amount. Reason for this as well is you want to get as many out as possible, much gas out as possible. Due to when you bottle it, it could go with a pop or a ping, or it could explode, which you don't want. So this is going to take a while. This is going to be like 5 minutes, and I'm waiting for that to finish drying off as well. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to carry on doing this backwards and then forwards, just disturbing that and mixing the stoppers in as well. So I shall be back. So now we're ready to rack this off back into the demijohn to let it do what it's going to do, which is hopefully stop fermentation. Note, when we're doing this, we're not putting oxygen back in. We're trying to get gases out, so we're not trying to create bubbles. We're just letting whatever else is in there rise out to the top by agitating it. You don't want to get in there frisking it and stuff, because you add oxygen to this now and it'll kill off the, well, it won't kill off the alcohol, it'll turn it into like vinegar or something like that, I think. I've not had one go bad yet, so touch wood. I'm doing all right. Takes it off that lease as well. Now what this will do is, when I put this into this and leave it a few days, because that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it a couple of days to finish doing what it's done, just to make sure that it is finished. It's going to leave another bit of sediment at the bottom, which is a good thing because we don't want it in the brew, because otherwise when you bottle it, you're going to have like a little bit of sediment at the bottom all the time, and you want to get as much of that out as possible. I think some people rack 3 times. I normally only rack once, so this is going to be different with racking twice, which is good, and we'll see, hopefully get a better product out of it. Right then, so I've taken the there's a cap that fits on the end of the auto siphon which encases that part there. This has been sanitized again, by the way. Encases that part there, so when you pop it down into the lease, it draws from the sides instead of the bottom. Well, we're not bothered about lease now because there is none. So in this auto siphon goes straight into the demijohn, and we should be able to get all of this without any worries. Leave that there doing its thing. I'll take a minute or two. When you use an auto siphon, you always have the thing you're racking from and the thing you're racking to down below. Always down below, because it uses suction and then gravity to carry on pulling it. And it's doing that thing where it's making noise again, which bothers me, I have to say. I'm not sure how it can be drawing oxygen in. Unless there's some kind of like a gap somewhere in the thing, but it won't. If there was, it wouldn't be drawing oxygen, would it? I don't know. And I don't give a shit either. Nearly done. And then that's pretty much all I'm going to do with this one today. And then I'm going to move on to the black sack mead, which is actually a melomel because it's going to be a sack melomel. Sack just refers to being super sweet and high ABV. We'll check the gravity on that because I did do a reading beforehand because the honey from that was mixed in. Whenever this has taken its sweet time, and we want to tip this because we want all of that in there. And then I'll check it again tomorrow just to see if the stoppers have worked, which they should because normally they're flawless. If they haven't worked, just wait longer, really, I suppose. Oh shit, nearly fucking lost it. Woo. Excuse my language. In fact, no, don't excuse my language. I swear. Deal with it. And that's all, folks. So that now can bugger off over here because we're not going to need that again today. And there you have it. That's it, racked off. As you can see, there's no lease in the bottom now because we removed it from that lease. And to think that that's where the line of the sugar honey was. That's where it began. And it ate all of that honey. It was a lot of honey. I can't remember exactly how much now. I haven't got my little book of raw in here either. So we're going to pop that back on there, like so. That keeps that nice and sweet. We can move that now. Don't need the chair. The racking chair. So now we're going to swap these around.